All right. I thought I'd post something. I don't know, something just happened to me today, actually. Nothing paranormal. Well, it is. Love is spiritual. Forgiveness is spiritual. Relationships with other people, all sorts of relationships, working relationships, and this one's about somebody I worked with. I still work with. I've been doing these To Live is to Love series, and I think more than once I've openly admitted that this is something I need. Because even though I think I have deep down, I have a love for people, it's kind of dormant at times. And I work with a guy, we work side by side at this it's kind of like bench work. You're standing, you're sitting, you're working with your hands for 8 hours. Nothing too strenuous. And it gets monotonous, and sometimes you get engaged in small talk, or as I call it, on my part, timblab. Well, I work with this guy. He started after me, and he's a big guy. Looks like if I'm 6 foot, I'd say he's 6'3", maybe. Big guy, white guy, kind of a Raggedy Ann looking mop of hair, and not the sharpest knife in the drawer, I'd say, and I think he's painfully aware of it. And I don't mean to put the man down. I'm just describing him. And I could be wrong, because who am I to say? But that's my impression. I'm not pulling punches on him or myself. So I just try to tell the truth. Sometimes I'm not the sharpest knife in the drawer, but probably more often than I know. So we work together, and we talk. He likes to talk. I personally, believe it or not, just keep company with my own thoughts and like to keep my mouth shut most of the time. But I'm not the only one that likes to blab, lo and behold. This man talks. So I learned a bit about him, and he used to be a truck driver. And I'd say the guy's about 50, but he looks to be in pretty good shape. And he lost his truck driving license because, in his words, a state trooper witnessed him tailgating a woman, causing her to have an accident. And he said, I admit that did happen, but he thought it was wrong that he lost his CDL license as a result. So he's pretty upset about that, and he's been living, I gather, off welfare from what he said, with his girlfriend. And they finally made him get a job. So there he is working with me. And he, by his own words, he's not the nicest person around. He said, I don't know if this is, I've never heard such a thing, that he's gone twice for rehabilitation to become a nicer person. He used choicer words than that. And he said himself that he's learning in life that being an a-hole, you know what I'm saying, doesn't pay. He wants to be a nicer person. And I've heard him say other things, like road rage kind of things about other people, that kind of made me think he's not a nice person. But he's very polite, and he's soft-spoken. He laughs a lot. It's kind of a... God, I hope he doesn't see this. He'll probably break my neck. But I don't have... Yeah, I'm going to just go on and talk. I'm going shopping in Auburn, but thought I'd do this. We got our first snow today, and I got out of work early because the power went out. I should say we, because the guy I'm talking about did too. So, we make small talk once in a while. We had a problem. That's what this is about. We had a problem recently. And, I talk like I do. Told him about, and I'm retired Army, and I've got some other stuff coming in, and I'm just working here to raise money to take another trip to France. And I probably should just kept that to myself, because I already knew this guy said he's never left the state. He's never been anywhere in his life, and he doesn't plan on going anywhere. So I'm talking about how much I love France, and up here's where Jen lived. Up here where she lived and died. Just seeing that ambulance go by made me think that. Beautiful area to grow up in. She had it good in that regard. I always think that driving down here. It's really a beautiful road because you can't see it, but there's a Wasco Lake, a really long, like 20-mile long lake off down the hill to the left. Actually, her place was on the left. I said right. Everything's, on the left. At any rate, back to the story. So I'm talking about my exploits in life, military, things I've done in the military. Guy never served. The guy's never done much of anything, I think, with his life, and I think he's at a point where he's kind of feeling like a failure, and he's upset with life, and I started getting that. When you're 50 and you don't have any retirement plan, or things haven't worked out, marriage has failed, and who knows, I don't know why. I didn't dig. I do not dig or pry. But I got that he said he went to college just to learn that he wanted to drive a truck. And he drove a truck, and like I said, he doesn't drive a truck anymore unless he takes some courses and pays some fines. And he's pretty upset about that. And he's a strange fella. Kind of quiet and brooding. Half the time I can't make out what he's saying, partially because I have bad hearing. He laughs a lot, but it's strange. I'm not trying to figure him out. I work with him. So, I'm kind of... So, at any rate, we had a problem, and I'll get to what happened. We were talking. He said something about his blood pressure. We're talking about doctors while we're working. We're not even looking at each other. We're working away, and small talk starts. And he said something about he's got to take his blood pressure medicine. And I said, I take blood pressure medicine too. I have for a long time. Who doesn't over the age of 40 or 50 anymore? And I said, what are you taking? And he said what he's taking. And I recognize that because that's what they started me out on, the VA. And I had 2 doctors tell me that that's a bad drug. They said the mortality rate on that, people do not live long when they're on that drug. It's a bad drug, but it's still on the market. And there's plenty of drugs that are better and not dangerous. And I told this guy, oh God, you need to talk to your doctor about that, because that drug has a mortality rate with the users. They don't live as long. And he got upset. I said, well, don't take it from me. I said, I'm just telling you my experience with it, and you might want to take this up with your physician to look into changing to something else. And I Googled it, and sure enough, search came up showing that drug does indeed have some serious problems associated with it. Like, users can expect their life to be shorter as a result, morbidity rate, I think it's called, but it was significantly less. If you're taking that drug long term, you're going to be good chance you're going to carve some years off your life. And he got mad at me for that. I mean, he got real mad. Started saying, I don't care if I die. I don't care about anything. I don't care. Somebody gets in my way on the road and I just want to kill him. He's talking crazy. Seriously. And I'm like, look, man, I said, I'm just telling you my experience with it. Do what you want with that. He got mad at me. He said some things. He said, you understand what I'm saying? He says to me. He's a big guy, too. I'm a big guy, but I'm a big old guy and older. And I said, no problem, Chief, because I was kind of mad. And I didn't talk to him after that. I didn't say a word. And he mumbled some stuff, and I didn't hear him. And he was mad. I could tell the way he was working. He was kind of slamming things around for a while. Then he quieted down. So at this point, I'm upset. But I'm not saying anything. And I started praying like, Lord Jesus, like I've been saying on my channel. I'm trying to practice this. Because I was pretty upset myself with this guy. I thought he was a jerk. I hated that I had to work with him. And I said, Jesus, teach me how to love this guy. And, I thought of him, as a confused, angry person, angry at life. And he knows he's got issues, I think. I don't know. And I'm not trying to figure the guy out. But I'm trying to figure out how to work with this guy and how to be more Christ-like. Because I really wasn't feeling it. And neither was he. But I'm the one that, I talked to him. He knew I was a Christian, and he thought that was a good thing. I will say that, prior to this disagreement. We were talking about Christmas and how we're going to celebrate it. And I said, no, I'm going to go to church. That's how I do it. Because I'm alone. And he said, well, that's always a good thing. So he's upset at me. I'm upset at him. And I'm trying to be Christ-like. And I did some praying. God to help me with it. And that wasn't like a magic wand, because I kind of stayed a little upset with him. And I just said, I'm not going to talk to this guy. I'll talk to him as much as I have to work with him. And I'm going to do my best to do something I usually don't do and be a little bit phony, you could say. Lake. And just smile and grin and bear it and not show that I'm upset. And actually, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I don't think it's being phony. I think it's being prudent and being a good, at the workplace. And so that was that. And that just happened a couple days ago. And yesterday I worked with a guy. I didn't say a word to him, really. I think I might have said whatever, good morning, something brief I don't think I said anything to him, actually. So, getting to the end of this little tale, which came to be about 3 hours ago when I was at work, before they told us to go home early because of the power being out. I come into work and we got some snow. It's all melted, but probably I'm right now about 30 miles from where I work, so maybe they didn't get much snow here. But I see his car's not there this morning. And I know he's got a bit of a drive to get there, a little farther than me. It's about a 30-minute drive for me, 35 when it's snowy or more. And I thought, good, he's not there, good. And this isn't very good on me, I'm telling you the truth. I said, I hope he's in a ditch, not hurt. But I hope his car's in a ditch and he doesn't make it to work. I really didn't want to see the guy. I'm being honest with you. I told you I need the gift of love. But I caught myself, and I did say I didn't wish him any harm. I didn't go that far. I just hoped his car was in a ditch so that he wouldn't come to work. I know that sounds awful, but I'm being honest with you. And then I caught myself, and I said, no, you've got to be Christ-like. And I said, Jesus, I pray that he gets to work and that he's all right. And Lord, Holy Spirit, teach me how to love like Jesus did. And you know what? At that point, I saw the guy. This may sound kind of corny, but I said, part of the thing when you're dealing with difficult people is whatever works. I mean, this may sound superficial, but view him as oops. All right, so picking up where I left off, this apparatus I have here, hands-free, so I suppose that would make it legal, hopefully. I'm coming home from Auburn, so I goofed up the camera shut off mid-story, and I said, well, I'll just remake the whole thing. No, I'll just pick up where I left off when I'm coming back. So, as I was saying, I viewed the guy, I prayed to Christ to help me love this guy the way you do, because I wasn't really feeling it. In fact, I was in the snow. I saw that he wasn't there, and I really hoped his car was in the ditch, but he was all right, but his car was in the ditch. So I didn't want to work with the guy. He got very ugly with me. And a couple days before, very ugly, and he started saying some pretty crazy stuff, violent stuff. And I said, well, I've had it. That's it. So, like God meant to say, God will give you all kinds of opportunities, no matter who you are, where you are, to learn to love people that are difficult. And this was one for me. So I prayed to God to help me learn to love this guy the way Christ did. See what Christ saw. And I saw him as a child. I envisioned that. Nothing dramatic, but I'm struggling here to do what Christ commanded me to do, to love others, just as he loves us in our imperfect state. So, yeah, I knew that was going to happen. Sorry, hold on, I got to hold this thing. I got to come up with a better system. There it goes again. Sorry. This does not work so hot. All right, let's see how that goes. Sorry about that. So I saw him as a child. Maybe started the life out. Maybe he had a hard childhood. Yeah, I was blessed. Not everybody's blessed with a great childhood. I was. I had some hardships after childhood, but my childhood, I couldn't have wanted a better childhood, quite frankly. I was blessed in many ways. And maybe he didn't have that, I imagine he probably didn't. And he seemed kind of challenged in a few ways. For God's sakes, I hope he never sees this video. I don't think he ever will. But, I don't know. I saw him maybe as just a man that's disappointed with himself and his life and the world, and, dealing with it the best that he can, but he's got some problems. And he knows it. And he admitted that he did. He admitted more than once that he's got some issues with being a bad person in some ways. Bad attitude, kind of. Well, all right, so I go into work and I start working by myself. He's not around, he's not in work, which didn't bother me a bit, in the least. I didn't wish harm upon this person. I just didn't want to work with him. And well, an hour later he shows up. He came in. I guess he had some kind of problems because the weather was bad. And okay, fine. And I'm walking down the hallway, and there's another guy that I usually we exchange greetings and such when we meet and small talk. And this guy I'm talking about, the difficult one, he's walking too, and he's not far away from this other guy, so there's three of us. And I say, how you doing? And the guy I meant to say it to, that is to say the guy I haven't been talking about, he didn't seem to hear me. But the guy I've been talking about, that I made it a point not to talk to him, he heard me, and he thought I was talking to him. He says, oh, hi, something like that. And that was that. And I thought, No, I didn't mean you, to myself, not you. Because I'll tell you the truth, I was kind of sore. I told you I need the gift of love. And then I caught myself, said, no, that was for you. I thought that, I'm trying to check myself. So again, I said, how you doing? And the guy I meant it for didn't hear me for some reason. The guy I didn't mean it for, yours truly, the attitude guy, he thought I was talking to him. He heard me. And he said, hi, how you doing? Or hello, something like that. And I thought, not you. And I kept walking, That wasn't for you, pal. Then I caught myself trying to practice what I preached. I said, well, you know what? That was for you. Hello. I just thought that. And I went back to work. About an hour later, I'm walking in a part of this little factory, and apparently he was back in this kind of area that not many people are working at. So I encountered him. He's walking my way and I'm walking his way. And we see each other from about maybe 50 feet. And I'm thinking like, oh God. First impulse was to find a way around. And then I thought, no, come on, let's be a bigger guy than that. Just, you don't got to show your, how you're feeling. They don't need to see that at work. And he probably was thinking the same thing. And so we crossed paths. You know what he did? Here it is. He said, hey. And I stopped. And the guy hung his head sheepishly. And he said, I want to tell you I'm sorry for flipping out on you the other day. He said, I shouldn't have done that. I'm sorry. That was wrong. And that really kind of knocked me over. I didn't expect that from him. See, I don't know. I misjudge people all the time. I'm guilty of that, and I'm trying to do something about it. And I said, I was kind of taken by it. But I didn't betray how I was really feeling. I was really moved. But I said, don't worry about it. It was nothing. I said, I tend to, run on talking about stuff, and I just don't know when to shut my mouth. When I was talking about the medicine he was taking, that he shouldn't be taking it because I took it, and the doctors told me it was a dangerous medicine. Don't take it. And, I should have just gathered. Shut up, man. This guy's uncomfortable about it, but I didn't. He said, no. He said, it's not you. He said, it's me. And he said some other stuff, kind of mumbled it as he was hanging his head. And he said, I'm sorry about that. And I said, no, think nothing of it. Don't worry about it. And we had a laugh and went about our business. And that's it. I went back to my little place, and actually they moved him. Right now he's working in a different place. And I thought, man, I was so wrong. I thought of how I wished he'd gone into a ditch, not injured, but just not coming to work. That's not very nice, is it? Yours truly, Tim, the Christian. Yeah, I thought that. I was so ashamed of myself. I instantly knew that there was a big lesson in this. I thank Jesus, almost to the point of tears, because I was really moved. I didn't expect that from him. I thought, man, I was wrong. Really wrong. I mean, he was wrong too to flip out on me like he did for nothing, really. But I should have known better. I said, Jesus, forgive me and teach me what you want to teach me from this lesson, valuable lesson in life. Really, things like this that are really our treasure, I think. And I thank God, and I was really thankful and bowled over and honestly humiliated because I was angry at him. I didn't want to work with him. I didn't think very well of him, quite frankly, though I was struggling with it, and I was praying to God. And Jesus was helping me to see him as a man he could be, and an injured person. And I'm not defending things he's done wrong. I'm not trying to whitewash anything. The man's struggling. And he said himself to me more than once that he was trying to become a better person. And so the man is struggling. And I should have seen that. And you know what else I should have done? This is a simple man, really. I'm not putting him down, because he may be a genius on his own level. And I'm not trying to psychoanalyze the guy either. I'm just sharing with you a lesson today. But what I should have had enough sense to do was not run on like I do about my life accolades. You know, I've got a master's degree to teach, and I was a first responder at the Trade Center, and, you know, I've got a military retirement, and I'm just doing this to raise money for a vacation, the job. I don't really need the money. Listen, what type of guy am I? And this guy's struggling. He just come off welfare because he lost his license to drive a truck. And that job pays okay, but it's not great either. What the heck? What type of guy am I to run my mouth like that? That's not all. I mean, I'm not always like that. I sincerely, good morning, how you doing? And, you know, I'm not always, but I should have known better. To tone it down. You know, consider who I'm talking to. I should have known better. I really realized what a dunce I can be. I mean, I'm not trying to redeem myself, but what a stupid dunce I can be sometimes. And I firmly believe that no matter who you are in this life, if you can't own up to, fully face and own up to these things, you're never going to learn, you're never going to grow, and these opportunities to become a better person will never be realized. So I'm owning up to it. And I did pray to God to help me to see this man the way Jesus saw him. And I did pray to Christ after he did apologize to me for his conduct, which really shocked me completely. I prayed to Christ after asking forgiveness for my own behavior and thanking him for this lesson. I prayed to Christ to show me everything he wanted me to learn in it. And part of what Christ showed me was what a dunce I was. What a thick-headed, arrogant jerk I was, knowing that this man, who in his own words, he's never left this state, and he probably never would, for me to go on about all my travels and my exploits in the Army and all this other stuff. I shouldn't have done that. Really. I should have known better. If I call myself a wise man, I'm taking this thing off. If I call myself a wise man, I shouldn't have done that. Yeah, neck brace. So that's it. A lesson in forgiveness, love, and quite frankly, humility. Because I definitely felt humbled. And I still do, and I do hope that I learned something from this. Next time I'm in a situation, if I am, to handle it better than I did. And that guy, you know what? He learned something too. At some point he said, I'm going to apologize to that guy. And he did. And he meant it. I mean, you should have seen the look on his face. He sincerely meant it. I don't think I've ever seen such a sincere apology in my life. And so, with everything said and done here, I did pray over this when it happened and today, and look how the Lord blessed it. I think for both of us. There it is. Glory be to God. All things work to the good for them that love the Lord. Take care.